Visitors coming inside also aren't leaving empty-handed. The museum is handing out these posters of President Bush as a keepsake. The museum is open late until 8 o'clock tonight and tomorrow night. And they were armed with a gun. The convenience store clerk told them several times that they couldn't provide any cash, and then she was shot several times. We just found out within the past 45 minutes or so that that woman died. I've never done this before, so we'll see how many attempts it takes. Some of the issues have been mail coming inconsistently to packages being left in unusual places. Well, Carlo, the Bush Library is preparing for a very large attendance this week with Barbara Bush's burial scheduled to happen here on Saturday. Hey guys, Clay Falls coming to you live from the Kimbrough Center in downtown Madisonville. We've had such a wonderful day today and lots of great food as well. We're about to have barbecue sandwiches from Mallet Brothers. They are taking good care of us. Special thanks to them. Just a few minutes ago, we had local Girl Scout troop 9504 come by with a lot of donations, and they stayed around to help us sort out all the food. This is Delane Callahan. Tell me a little bit about what you guys did and why you wanted to help out. Anita Jean Randall is being remembered as a kind woman who really cared about her customers. Customers and neighbors told me today how she was killed doesn't make any sense. AAA says nearly 4 million Texans will be driving to their destination this year. Getting there will also be less expensive. It's the busiest travel time of the year. Filling up is easier on the wallet, too. AAA says the statewide average for a gallon is $2.30.
That's always a good thing.
Paul Phillip is driving from Salado to Louisiana, hoping to avoid traffic.
I'm hoping to avoid that by staying, kind of north here and going from west to east on the northern roads, through the little towns.
He and fellow drivers are expected to catch a break at the pump through the winter months because of increased oil production.
This winter ought to be a good time for us to travel a little bit more and do so a little bit less expensively.
Folks are also packing airports. Eastwood Airport tells me all their flights are booked Thursday. Last November, more than 6,800 people flew out of Aggieland.
I'm just looking forward to getting back home to seeing the rest of my family.
Catherine Lovelady is flying home to Tennessee after visiting her daughter in College Station.
Family's everything, so it was just a really nice visit.
For travelers I met with, the destination is worth the time and trouble to get there.
Looking forward to seeing some of my family members I haven't seen for years and some good food on Thanksgiving Day.
In all, more than 54 million people are expected to travel this holiday week. Live in Bryan, Clay Falls, News 3. The summer heat is in full force, and a hot car is no place for people or pets.
Temperatures inside a vehicle within an hour could range up to almost 180 degrees inside the vehicle with the car turned off.
Bryan firefighter and paramedic Tyler Franklin says calls for people or pets in hot vehicles are common during summer. He showed us how a bystander should safely break a window if you ever need to.
Typically, you're going to have your best chance of breaking the glass by going to the edges and the corners of the glass.
We wanted to use items most of us might have. We started out with a knife that has a blunt metal tip.
How hard that is. So a lot more difficult at that point that you can now peel this glass out.
I've never done this before, so we'll see how many attempts it takes. Firefighters have special tools to get into cars quickly. This is what firefighters use. It's called a spring-assisted window punch, and it takes the work out of getting in. KBTX legal analyst Shane Phelps says people shouldn't worry about legal implications if they are helping in an emergency situation.
I think a clever lawyer certainly would invoke the Good Samaritan Act, but I do think that we really need specific targeted legislation to protect people who take action to save animals and children in that circumstance.
Back outside, Franklin says it's best to be prepared with some tools in your car. In Bryan, Clay Falls, News 3. American flags and interesting yard art decorated Fraser's Concrete at the corner of US 290 and Highway 6. Many people lined up to pay their respects to the family of Barbara Bush, including Suzanne Ellis. She wore pearls and blue as her family recorded the historical moment.
It's something that you only get to see maybe once in a lifetime, and she's honored our country for so long, and why not honor her in her time?
Fraser's put out statues from all 5 branches of the military as a final salute to the First Lady.
We hope they really get to see it and appreciate the effort we put into it, and to know that they're loved by seeing the flags and everything.
Fernando Gomez is the general manager at Frazier's.
We wanted to pay our respects to someone that is highly regarded, and it is an honor to be able to express our feelings and to show our appreciation for her.
Ty Gullick brought his family from Cyprus.
It's very special. We took lots of pictures. We even got to see George W. In the window as he drove by and waving with gratitude.
In Hempstead, Clay Falls, News 3. Hours before the train arrived, preparations were being made to honor a man who loved Aggieland.
We always say that, once an Aggie, always an Aggie, and he's kind of been adopted into the family, right?
Tony Watson owns Watson Signs and Monuments. He and his employees decorated their front yard for the once-in-a-lifetime train procession.
We're all Americans. Today, this last week, we've all been Americans regardless of political aspect.
Thousands gathered along the railroad tracks to see President Bush's funeral train. Rudy Schubert is a retired Air Force pilot that lives in Welborn.
I served under him, and I'm proud to have served under him. He was a great man, and I used to fly his wife around quite a bit when I was in the military.
Thank you, President Bush!
Even the youngest took in the moment.
That you could see the casket.
I thought it was pretty cool because you don't get to see something like that all the time.
We've got a great seat to be able to celebrate the life of just a great man. Whether you, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, what a great man.
In Welborn, Clay Falls, News 3. Anita Jean Randall is being remembered as a kind woman who really cared about her customers. Customers and neighbors told me today how she was killed doesn't make any sense. This Valero corner store was closed Monday. A makeshift memorial of a few flowers were left by the front doors. 54-year-old Anita Jean Randall was shot while working behind the counter Sunday night. Police said she was taken to nearby Baylor Scott and White Hospital, where she died.
And I knew the lady, Anita, who had been shot and killed, and so I wanted to come by and see if there was anything that I could do.
Robert Mitch is a regular at the store, coming by twice a week.
She was very, very friendly. She was always friendly, always had a smile on her face.
Randall lived nearby on Sarah Drive. Her family told me they'd been asked by police not to speak to the media, but they did share this photo. Stephen Alcala knew his neighbor Anita only in passing.
I feel terrible for the family, obviously. They lost somebody, whoever she was very close to, they lost somebody extremely close to them. And it's just a tragedy that shouldn't happen. It was kind of senseless.
After getting a tip, police tracked Lockett to Brenham, where he's from.
We looked up the person's driver's license photo, matched that up, of course, with video to see if it's similar. And if so, then we'll use other investigative techniques in order to try to track him down.
It's senseless. She wouldn't have hurt him. She wouldn't have fought him.
A sign here at the store says they will reopen at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We will keep you posted on funeral information. Live in College Station, Clay Falls, News 3. Chris Howard is healing up at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center in Houston. Balloons decorate his room following a kidney transplant Wednesday.
Everything went well. Everything went smooth as far as the kidney. It started working immediately. There was no setbacks on that. So when they removed it from Flo's body to my body, everything went very smooth.
Howard got the new kidney from a co-worker at Creekview Elementary in College Station. Flo Sebesta manages the cafeteria. KBTX was invited along as the two connected in the hospital Thursday afternoon for the first time after the surgery. Both are doing well.
Like a rock star. I'm feeling fine. Groggy, sore, but I'm fine.
Howard has been dealing with kidney failure and cancer. He was looking at having to live life without working kidneys.
Blessed that I was able to do it for him and his wife and his babies.
He had this appeal for anyone considering becoming a donor.
It's definitely a gift of life, and I'll never be able to pay her back in any kind of way. I'm just so grateful for it. And yeah, she immediately became my sister, and I'm her brother now. So we're stuck together. I told her no take backsies.
In Houston, Clay Falls, News 3.